Look long enough, and a pattern becomes impossible to ignore. The same people keep rising. They accumulate assets, influence, and freedom, while others remain trapped in a permanent loop of effort, stress, and survival. The explanations offered are comforting, but hollow. They say the rich are lucky, smarter, more talented, or born into privilege. These explanations exist to protect a more dangerous lie. The lie that money is fair. The lie that money rewards effort. The lie that if you work hard enough, the system will eventually recognize you. It will not. Money does not obey fairness. Money does not respond to morality. Money does not care how sincere your intentions are or how exhausted your body feels. Money obeys power, and power has never been given. Power has always been taken, designed, and positioned. This is the first cut you must accept. As long as you believe money is a reward for virtue, you will remain dependent, and dependence is weakness. Weakness is always exploited. This is not cynicism. It is observation. History, markets, corporations, and empires all operate under the same logic. Those who control behavior control resources. Those who control resources control outcomes. Those who control outcomes write the rules everyone else is forced to follow. Niccolò Machiavelli understood this long before money took its modern form. He was not teaching P.E. Opal how to get rich. He was teaching rulers how to maintain power in a world where human beings are emotional, fearful, and predictable. Money is simply power wearing a different mask. If you do not understand how power works, money will never stay with you, no matter how hard you chase it. This is why intelligence alone does not create wealth. If it did, universities would be factories of millionaires. This is why hard work alone does not create wealth. If it did, the most exhausted people in society would be the richest. Effort produces output, but output without leverage feeds someone else's structure. The worker moves. The system benefits. The strategist barely moves at all, yet the system bends around him. The uncomfortable truth is this: most people are not poor because they lack ability. They are poor because they occupy weak positions. While believing effort can compensate for position, it cannot. Position always beats effort. A person standing in the wrong place can work themselves into the ground and remain replaceable. A person standing in the right place can appear average and extract value endlessly. This is where resistance appears. People want money to be moral. They want success to be just. They want the world to reward sincerity. These desires feel noble, but they are expensive. Every belief that softens reality reduces your ability to navigate it. Machiavellian thinking does not ask what should be, it asks what is. And what is this: human behavior is predictable. Incentives drive action. Fear distorts judgment. Money flows toward those who can anticipate these forces and position themselves above them. Once you see this clearly, a second realization follows. Money is not neutral, it is a weapon. In the hands of the reactive, it leaks away through impulse, comfort, and short-term relief. In the hands of the composed, it multiplies because it is treated as leverage, not emotion. This is why sudden wealth disappears so often. The numbers change, but the psychology remains weak. The habits remain reactive. The person returns to equilibrium because identity always overrides circumstance. The world is not divided between good people and bad people, or deserving and undeserving people. It is divided between those who understand control and those who do not. Those who do not understand it live inside the system, following rule, as they did not design, hoping outcomes will eventually favor them. Those who understand it step outside the emotional noise and begin designing positions that make outcomes inevitable. This is why the rich appear calm while others panic. This is why they wait while others rush. This is why they buy when others sell, expand when others retreat, and accumulate when others are desperate for relief. They are not braver. They are not luckier. They are positioned differently, and position creates power. If this feels uncomfortable, it should. Comfort is the first enemy of control. The moment you demand that money behave morally, you surrender the ability to understand how it actually behaves. The moment you accept that money follows power, the illusion collapses. And when the illusion color PSEs, something more dangerous appears: responsibility. Because once you see the game clearly, you can no longer blame the system, your boss, your upbringing, or your circumstances. You are forced to confront where you stand and why. This is not here to motivate you. Motivation fades. This is here to strip away the illusions that keep people obedient, reactive, and predictable. The next sectio will not teach you how to work harder. They will teach you how power actually accumulates, how money follows position, and why those who understand this become unreadable, untouchable, and eventually unavoidable. The first cut has been made. If you are still clinging to the idea that money owes you fairness, you will not survive what comes next. But if you are willing to abandon comforting Lee in exchange for control, you are ready to continue. At the center of almost every financial struggle sits one belief so deeply ingrained that most people never question it. If I keep trying, if I keep pushing, if I keep working hard long enough, the system will eventually reward me. This belief feels reasonable, it feels fair, it feels moral. And that is exactly why it is lethal. The system does not reward effort. It never has. It cannot. Effort is invisible unless it is attached to leverage. Millions of people exert effort every day. They wake up early, stay late, exhaust themselves, and still remain interchangeable. If effort alone created wealth, poverty would not exist. The fact that it does tells you everything you need to know about how the game actually works. Systems are not built to measure sincerity. They are built to preserve structure. A system rewards what sustains it, not what sacrifices for it. This is the illusion that destroys people financially. They confuse contribution with control. They believe producing value guarantees reward. In reality, only owning the position through which value flows guarantees anything. This is the difference between the RKR mindset and the strategist mindset. The worker asks, "What can I do better?" The strategist asks, "Where am I standing?" The worker optimizes performance inside a structure. The strategist designs or occupies the structure itself. One produces, the other extracts. One depends, the other is depended upon. Effort versus leverage is not a motivational contrast. It is a structural one. Effort ails linearly. You can only push your body and time so far before diminishing returns appear. Leverage scales exponentially. One decision, one position, one system can multiply outcomes without multiplying effort. This is why a single owner can earn more in a day than 1,000 workers combined. Not because the owner works harder, but because the owner controls the funnel. Most people never company front. This because the worker identity feels virtuous. Hard work is praised. Sacrifice is admired. Obedience is reframed as character. This moral framing keeps people compliant. When effort is treated as virtue, questioning position feels wrong. When obedience is treated as nobility, seeking leverage feels selfish. These moral narratives are not accidental. They are stabilizers. They keep the system running smoothly. Personal morality has nothing to do with financial outcomes. This is another illusion people cling to. They want to believe honesty creates wealth, that fairness protects them, that sincerity will eventually be recognized. But money is not a moral agent. It does not judge intention. It responds to mechanics, power mechanics, control mechanics, incentive mechanics. Teach. Strategist understands this early. He does not ask whether the system is fair. He asks how it operates. He observes who gets paid without being present, who benefits while appearing calm, who absorbs value without advertising effort. He notices that these people are not working harder, they are positioned differently. And once you see this, you cannot unsee it. The worker believes visibly. Thank you comes before power. The strategist knows power tolerates visibility only when convenient. The worker explains himself, proves himself, exhausts himself. The strategist withholds, waits, and lets others reveal their need. The worker believes effort earns security. The strategist knows security comes from being necessary, not helpful. This is why people remain trapped even as they improve them. selves. They learn more skills. They take more courses. They increase output. But nothing fundamentally shifts because their position remains the same. Skill without leverage simply makes you a better tool, a sharper instrument for someone else's use. The most dangerous part of the core illusion is that it keeps people hopeful. Hope delays confrontation. As long as someone believes reward is coming later, they tolerate exploitation now. They accept bad terms. They justify stagnation. They tell themselves it will pay off eventually. Meanwhile, the system extracts their energy and replaces them without hesitation. This is not because they are unintelligent, it is because they believe the wrong rule governs the game. People are not exploited because they lack intelligence. They are exploited because they believe effort is the currency that buys freedom. It is not. Position is. Once this illusion collapses, the emotional reaction is often anger or despair. Both are unproductive. The correct response is clarity. If the system does not reward effort, then effort must be redirected toward acquiring leverage. If morality does not protect you, then structure must. If hard work inside the game keeps you trapped, then the only rational move is to change how you play. The worker mindset asks for fairness. The strategist designs inevitability. The worker waits for permission. The strategist creates dependence. The worker hopes the rules will change. The strategist learns them, then positions himself where the rules work in his favor. This is the pivot point. As long as you believe the system owes you a reward for trying, you will remain inside it. The moment you accept that systems reward position, not effort, the game shifts, not emotionally, structurally. And structure is the only thing money respects. People are not crushed by force. They are drained by belief. They believe in effort, where leverage is required. They believe in morality, where power is decisive. They believe in fairness, where positioning determines outcomes. And that belief keeps them exactly where the system needs them to be. The illusion is simple. Abandoning it changes everything. Principle 1. Silence. Silence is pressure, not the absence of communication, but the presence of restraint. In every exchange involving money, power, or advantage, the person who speaks the most is usually the person revealing the most. Words leak intention. Tone leaks urgency. Explanation leaks weakness. This is why silence is not passive, it is active control. Most people talk because they are uncomfortable. They speak to fill space, to justify themselves, to reduce tension. In doing so, they expose their position. They reveal what they want, what they fear, how badly they need the outcome. This is catastrophic in any money-related interaction. The moment urgency is visible, terms harden, prices rise, offers worsen, power shifts away from the speaker. The silent person does something far more dangerous. He lets the other side carry the emotional weight of the interaction. Humans hate silence. When a gap appears, they rush to close it. They explain more than necessary. They clarify what was not asked. They reveal limits they never intended to expose. Silence turns the other person into the speaker, and the speaker always loses leverage. This is why silence has always been a tool of power. In negotiations, the party who reacts first signals dependency. The one who waits forces movement. Silence creates asymmetry. One side is calm, the other is compelled to ACT. That imbalance alone reshapes outcomes. In salary discussions, this principle is decisive. The average person over-explains their value, lists achievements, justifies why they deserve more. In doing so, they turn the conversation into a plea. They anchor themselves to effort rather than necessity. A composed negotiator states a position clearly, then stops. He does not defend it. He does not soften it. He allows silence to do the work. If the other side needs him, the silence becomes unbearable. If they do not, no amount of talking would have saved the deal anyway. The same applies to pricing and partnerships. The person who rushes to clarify, discount, or reassure signals fear of losing the deal. That fear is immediately priced in. The silent party signals optionality. Optionality is power. When you can wait, you dictate tempo. When you dictate tempo, you shape outcomes. In investing, silence separates predators from prey. The crowd reacts to headlines, noise, urgency, and fear. They buy because others are buying. They sell because others are panicking. The strategist remains quiet. He watches. He lets the noise exhaust itself. By the time he moves, the energy of the market has already revealed mispricing. Silence here is not hesitation, it is filtration. Silence also protects you from your own impulses. Speaking accelerates commitment. Once words are out, ego pushes follow-through even when conditions change. The silent individual retains flexibility, he observes, without being bound by earlier declarations. This alone prevents countless financial errors. Most people mistake silence for weakness. They associate power with dominance, assertiveness, and visibility. This is another illusion. True power rarely announces itself. It waits, it withholds, it forces others to move first. Machiavellian control is not loud, it is disorienting. The inability to tolerate silence is a psychological vulnerability. It reveals dependence on approval, fear of rejection, and discomfort with uncertainty. These traits are punished relentlessly in financial environments. Markets, negotiations, and institutions do not reward reassurance-seeking behavior. They exploit it. Those who cannot endure silence will always pay to escape it. They accept worse terms, lower prices, unfavorable conditions, simply to restore comfort. That cost compounds quietly over time. It appears as small concessions, small losses, small compromises, and those quietly drain leverage. Silence reverses this dynamic. It transfers discomfort to the other side. It creates space for information to surface. It preserves optionality, and most importantly, it signals self-control. Self-control is the foundation of financial power. Without it, no strategy survives contact with reality. If you master nothing else, master this. Learn to stop speaking when the point is made. Learn to let tension sit. Learn to watch others reveal themselves. Because in every financial interaction, the person who cannot tolerate silence will always be the one paying for relief. Principle 2. Unreadability. If you can be read, you can be priced. This is not metaph. Oracle. It is literal. Every visible reaction becomes data. Data becomes prediction. Prediction becomes control, and control determines who pays and who collects. Emotion itself is not weakness. Emotion that leaks into behavior is. In money environments, emotions function as signals. Excitement signals eagerness. Fear signals urgency. Anger signals loss of control. Relief signals overcommitment. Each signal tells the other side how to move against you. Pricing, timing, pressure, and framing adjust instantly once your internal state becomes visible. This is why unreadability is protection. It interrupts the feedback loop between your internal state and external manipulation. When your reactions are muted, delayed, or neutral, others lose the ability to anchor expectations onto you. E cannot rush you. They cannot scare you. They cannot seduce you into bad decisions. They are forced to move without certainty, and uncertainty shifts power. Most people are easily readable because they react quickly. Speed feels decisive, but in reality, it often signals compulsion. Fast reactions are rarely thoughtful. They are emotional reflexes disguised as confidence. Markets exploit this relentlessly. Advertising exploits it. Negotiations exploit it. Anyone who needs you to decide quickly is not trying to help you. They are trying to control the frame. Advertising is a clear example. The entire industry is built on emotional predictability, fear of missing out, desire for status, need for comfort, impulse relief. The more readable your triggers are, the easier you are to monetize. Discounts appear exactly when impatience peaks. Scarcity is introduced precisely when hesitation arises. The readable consumer is harvested continuously without realizing it. Markets operate the same way. Volatility exists to flush out emotional actors. Sudden drops scare the reactive into selling. Sudden rises lure the impulsive into buying. Those who broadcast fear or excitement are not pants. They are liquidity. Their behavior provides profit opportunities for those who remain unreadable. Unreadability does not mean indecision. It means delayed reaction. It means refusing to let emotion dictate timing. When you pause, you gain perspective. When you gain perspective, you see incentives instead of noise. And once you see incentives, manipulation becomes obvious. The readable person believes transparency builds trust. In financial contexts, transparency without leverage builds vulnerability. Revealing too much about your intentions, limits, or emotional state gives the other side a map. They know where to push. They know when to wait. They know how to extract more while giving less. The unreadable person reveals selectively. He gives enough to function, never enough to be cornered. This frustrates manipulators. They cannot predict behavior. They cannot anchor price. They cannot escalate pressure effectively. As a result, they become cautious. Caution is leverage. Unreadability also protects you from yourself. When reactions are visible, ego becomes involved. Once ego is involved, reversing a bad decision feels like defeat. People double down to protect identity. The unreadable individual keeps identity detached from outcomes. He can change course without explanation. This flexibility alone prevents catastrophic losses. Social conditioning trains people to emote openly, to explain themselves, to signal enthusiasm or disappointment clearly. This conditioning is useful for bonding. It is disastrous for money. Financial environments reward ambiguity. It forces others to negotiate carefully. Careful negotiation produces better terms. This is why powerful individuals often appear calm, distant, even boring. It is not because they lack emotion. It is because they do not allow emotion to dictate behavior. They choose when to reveal and when to withhold. That choice is power. The inability to remain unreadable creates a permanent disadvantage. See others believe they understand you. They price you accordingly. They rush you when you are eager. They stall you when you are desperate. They extract concessions when you are emotionally invested. The game ends before you realize it began. Unreadability breaks this pattern. It creates friction. It disrupts prediction. It forces others to react instead of dictate. And when others must react to you, power has already shifted. The person who cannot be predicted cannot be controlled. And the person who cannot be controlled cannot be systematically exploited. This is why unreadability is not deception. It is defense. Principle 3. Predator patience. The herd moves fast, power moves slow. This difference alone explains why wealth repeatedly transfers from the many to the few. Speed feels intelligent to the crowd. It feels decisive. It feels like action. In reality, most speed is panic wearing confidence. Those who rush rarely choose. They react. And reaction always places you inside someone else's timing. The crowd enters markets late and exits early for the same reason: emotion. When prices rise, excitement builds, stories spread, validation appears. Fear of missing out rides judgment. By the time the majority moves, the opportunity is already matured. When prices fall, fear reverses the process. Loss aversion triggers panic. The same people who rushed in now rush out. The cycle is predictable because human behavior is predictable. Crises exist to exploit this predictability. They are not anomalies. They are mechanisms of redistribution. When pressure increases, emotional actors liquidate. They sell to relieve discomfort, not because conditions demand it. Those with patience absorb these assets quietly. This is not bravery. It is preparation combined with restraint. The patient party did not suddenly become smarter during the crisis. They simply remained solvent and composed, while others did not. Impulse and timing are opposites. Impulse seeks immediate relief. Timing seeks asymmetry. Impulse reacts to what is visible. Timing waits for what is inevitable. Most people mistake activity for progress. They believe constant movement keeps them safe. In reality, movement without position exhausts leverage. It leaves you exposed at exactly the wrong moment. This is why gambling feels similar to investing for the impatient. Both involve risk. Both involve uncertainty. The difference is positioning. Gambling relies on chance. Positioning relies on structure. The gambler hopes probability will favor him. The strategist waits until probability is already tilted. From the outside, the move looks bold. Internally, it is controlled. Markets reward this distinction relentlessly. The patient do not chase returns, they wait for mispricing. Pricing only appears when emotion distorts judgment. Fear creates discounts. Euphoria creates traps. Those who move slowly can see both clearly. Those who move fast are inside the distortion. Predator patience is not passive waiting. It is active observation. The predator watches how the herd behaves under pressure, who panics, who overextends, who is forced to act. Each reaction reveals weakness. Each weakness creates opportunity. This is why the most dangerous moments feel boring to those in control. By the time action is taken, the outcome is already shaped. The impatient believe waiting is lost opportunity. The strategist knows waiting without leverage is stagnation, but waiting with leverage is dominance. The difference is preparation. The predator prepares long before the strike. He accumulates optionality. He ensures liquidity. He structures exposure so he can move when others cannot. This is why crises always make the rich richer. Not because they cause the collapse, but because they are positioned to exploit it. They do not need to predict exact timing. They only need to remain capable while others become constrained. Constraint forces bad decisions. Bad decisions create transfer. Impulse trades relief for power. Timing trades discomfort for advantage. One feels good now and pays later. The other feels uncomfortable now and collects later. Most people choose relief because they are trained to avoid tension. They want certainty. Certainty is expensive. It is purchased through concessions. Predator patience reverses this dynamic. It tolerates uncertainty. It delays gratification. It resists the need to act just to feel in control. This restraint is rare. Rarity creates value. When others must act, the one who can wait dictates terms. Patience alone does not create wealth. Many people wait their entire lives and remain stagnant. Waiting without position is paralysis. Waiting with position is power. The difference is whether your patience is supported by leverage or undermined by desperation. The herd moves fast because it must. Power moves slow because it can. And that difference determines who accumulates assets and who becomes them. Principle 4. Leverage. Hours do not multiply. Systems do. This single law explains the permanent divide between those who remain financially constrained and those who accumulate wealth with apparent ease. Time is finite. No matter how disciplined or talented you are, you only have so many hours to sell. Once those hours are gone, so is your earning capacity. This is why trading time for money is not a path to wealth. It is a slow conversion of life into survival. Selling time feels safe because it feels honest. You work, you get paid. The exchange is clear, but clarity hides the trap. Time cannot scale. You can work harder, longer, faster, but each increase produces diminishing returns. Fatigue rises, judgment falls, dependency deepens. Eventually, income becomes capped by biology. This is not freedom, it is a ceiling disguised as stability. Leverage removes that ceiling. Leverage allows one decision to produce results repeatedly without proportional effort. This is why ownership always outperforms labor. The owner does not need to be present for value to be created. The system works on his behalf. The worker must show up every time. Absence costs him everything. Absence barely affects the owner. There are 4 primary forms of leverage that matter in the modern money game. The first is people. When you can coordinate the effort of others, your output multiplies. 1p. Person acting alone is limited. One person directing 10 people is not 10 times more effective. He is exponentially more effective because coordination creates structure. Structure persists even when individuals change. The second is other people's money. The poor fear debt because debt feels risky. The wealthy understand controlled debt is a weapon. Using only your own capital forces slow move me. Using other people's capital accelerates scale. This is not recklessness. It is alignment. When risk is distributed and returns are structured, growth speeds up dramatically. This is why major fortunes are built with leverage, not savings. The third is systems. Systems are repeatable processes that convert inputs into outputs without constant supervision. A job requires your presence, assist. Does not. Once built, it works while you sleep, while you rest, while you focus elsewhere. Systems turn effort into infrastructure. Infrastructure generates returns long after the original effort is forgotten. This is why the most valuable assets are boring. They are predictable. Predictability compounds. The fourth is attention. Attention is the most underestimated lever in the modern world. Whoever controls attention controls perception. Whoever controls perception influences behavior, and behavior directs money. Media, brands, platforms, and narratives are attention machines. A single message delivered to millions outperforms years of isolated effort. This is why influence scales faster than skill. Skill creates value. Attention decides who notices. Most people never build leverage, because leverage requires delayed gratification and discomfort. It requires building before consuming, structuring before enjoying, risking rejection before validation. Selling time feels easier because it produces immediate relief. But immediate relief is expensive. It costs future optionality. This is why selling time is effectively selling life. Each hour sold is an hour that can never be recovered. The worker tells himself he is being paid fairly, but what he is actually doing is exchanging irreversibility for short-term certainty. The system benefits because it receives predictable labor without giving up control. The worker remains replaceable. Ownership changes everything. The owner absorbs volatility but gains leverage. He accepts uncertainty now to secure control later. This trade-off defines wealth creation. Those unwilling to endure uncertainty will always rent stability from those who are. Rent is permanent. Ownership compounds. The belief that hard work will eventually lead to ownership is another illusion. Systems do not promote people out of generosity. They promote people when it benefits the system. Waiting to be rewarded keeps you inside the structure. Building leverage allows you to step above it. Leverage also explains why income gaps widen over time. Those with leverage gain more leverage. Those without it fall further behind even if they work harder. This is not unfairness, it is mechanics. Systems reward control, not contribution. If you do not intentionally build leverage, you will serve someone else's. Your effort will reinforce their POS. Your time will strengthen their system. Your attention will feed their platform. This is not a moral failure, it is a strategic one. Leverage is not optional in the money game, it is the game. Those who understand it design systems. Those who do not become part of one. And once you see this clearly, the choice becomes unavoidable. Either you multiply outcomes through leverage, or your life becomes the leverage someone else uses. Principle 5. The positioning law. Wealth flows through positions, not people. Most people misunderstand where money actually moves. They believe it flows toward effort, talent, intelligence, or dedication. This belief feels reasonable because it is constantly reinforced by education, culture, and corporate language. But it is structurally false. EY does not move toward individuals. It moves through positions. People are replaceable. Positions are not. This is why two people with similar skills, intelligence, and work ethic can end up with radically different financial outcomes. One struggles despite constant effort. The other accumulates wealth with far less visible strain. The difference is not character, it is placement. One is standing where value must pass. The other is standing where value is produced, but immediately captured by someone else. Positioning begins inside organizations. In every company, there are roles that create activity and roles that control flow. Most employees are placed where execution happens. They do the work, they generate output, but they do not control decisions, budgets, timing or direction. Air effort is essential, yet it feeds upward. Above them sit positions that decide priorities, allocate resources, and approve movement. These positions absorb value without producing proportional effort. This is not corruption, it is structure. The mistake most people make is trying to outperform their position instead of changing it. They work harder, stay longer, and become more competent in a role that was never designed to capture value. Excellence inside a weak position does not create leverage, it creates dependency. The system becomes efficient because of you, but you remain replaceable because you do not control the choke points. This logic extends beyond companies into the value chain itself. Every industry has a sequence where value is created, transformed, distributed, and monetized. Those closest to the end consumer often appear powerful, but appearance is misleading. Real power sits where decisions constrain options upstream or downstream. The platform that controls access, the intermediary that sets terms, the owner of infrastructure everyone else must use. Most people operate where value is added. The wealthy operate where value is rooted. Adding value is labor. Rooting value is power. When you add value, you are paid once. When you root value, you are paid continuously. This is why distributors, owners, and gatekeepers consistently outperform producers. They do not need to be better, they need to be unavoidable. Positioning within cash flow is even more decisive. Money does not reward effort evenly over time. It concentrates around control point. Who decides pricing? Who controls distribution? Who owns the asset that others depend on? Income earned through wages flows outward immediately. It pays expenses, obligations, and survival. Income earned through positions circulates inward. It accumulates, compounds, and attracts more flow. This is why ownership matters more than income level. A high salary without control is fragile. A mode, stream tied to a structural position is resilient. The former depends on continued approval. The latter creates dependence in others. When people or systems need you to function, money follows without persuasion. Machiavelli's question cuts through all illusions. Not what do I do, but where do I stand in this game? Skills answer the first question. Power answers the second. Most people obsess over tasks, responsibilities, and performance metrics. They rarely map the structure above them. They rarely ask who benefits most from their output, and they rarely trace where value actually accumulates. Standing in the wrong place turns effort into fuel for someone else's position. You can work tirelessly, improve constantly, and still remain poor if your position is downstream from control. Upgrading skill in a bad position only makes you a more efficient extractor for someone else's system. The system grows stronger, you remain constrained. This is why moral narratives around hard work are dangerous. They encourage obedience to structure while disguising extraction as virtue. They train people to identify with effort instead of leverage. Once someone believes their worth comes how hard they try, they stop questioning where the value goes. Repositioning is uncomfortable because it requires detachment. You must stop asking how to contribute more and start asking how value moves. You must observe without loyalty to roles that do not serve you. You must accept that being useful is not the same as being powerful. Wealth is not distributed by fairness. It is allocated by structure. And structure does not care who works hardest. It cares who occupies the gate. Stand in the wrong place and your effort will only enrich someone else. Principle 6. Narrative. Money follows belief, not truth. This principle is uncomfortable because it exposes how little reality matters in financial outcomes. People do not move based on what is objectively best. They move based on what they believe to be true, valuable, and meaningful. Whoever shapes that belief controls direction, and direction is where money flows. This is why brand outperforms product so consistently. A superior product without a compelling narrative remains invisible. An average product wrapped in a powerful story becomes dominant. The market does not reward technical perfection, it rewards perception. Perception determines trust. Trust determines choice. Choice directs capital. Words are not decoration. Words are infrastructure. They frame how people interpret value before they ever experience it. The same object can be cheap or priceless, depending on the story attached to it. This is not deception. It is how human cognition works. People cannot evaluate everything directly, so they rely on narratives to simplify reality. The person who provides that simplification gains influence. The difference between truth and narrative is not honesty versus lies. Truth is what something is. Narrative is what something means. Meaning moves people. Meaning creates identity. Identity drives spending. This is why people pay premiums for symbols, status, and belonging. They are not buying function. They are buying a story about themselves. Value follows the same logic. There is real value and there is believed value. Real value without belief stagnates. Believed value, even when thin, accelerates. Markets price belief far faster than they price substance. This is why speculation exists. This is why bubbles form. This is why early narratives create fortunes long before results exist. Those who reject narrative because it feels manipulative voluntarily remove themselves from the money flow. They insist quality should speak for itself. It rarely does. Silence without narrative is not integrity, it is obscurity. The strategist understands this and uses narrative deliberately, not emotionally. Narrative also organizes attention. Attention is scattered by default. Stories concentrate. When attention concentrates, momentum forms. Momentum attracts resources. Resources amplify narrative further. This feedback loop explains why certain brands, ideas, and individuals become unavoidable. They are not necessarily better, they are better framed. Control of narrative also explains why authority compounds. Once people believe someone is successful, competent, or powerful, they treat them as such. That treatment produces opportunities. Opportunities produce results. Results reinforce belief. The cycle closes. This is not fraud. It is social dynamics. The poor often cling to truth as protection. They believe accuracy will save them. It does not. Accuracy without influence is ignored. Influence without accuracy is tolerated until it collapses. The strategist balances both. He uses narrative to open doors, then builds enough substance to keep them open. The worker relies on substance alone and waits to be discovered. Discovery rarely happens. Narrative is not limited to marketing. It operates in negotiations, careers, investing, and leadership. How you describe your role determines how others price you. How you frame risk determines who follows you. How you article. Vision determines who invests. Silence has power. But silence without narrative leaves others to define the story for you. And they rarely do it in your favor. This is why those who control the story control the money. They decide what matters. They decide what is valuable. They decide what people pay attention to. Once that is set, money follows automatically. The most dangerous illusion believing narrative must be true to be effective. It must only be believed. Belief precedes verification. Markets move first and justify later. Those who understand this position themselves early. Those who wait for certainty arrive when the upside is gone. Narrative is not manipulation, it is architecture. It structures perception so behavior becomes predictable. Predictable behavior creates flow. Flow creates wealth. If you do not define the story, you will be trapped inside someone else's. And inside someone else's story, you are never the one collecting. You are the one paying. Whoever defines the narrative defines the flow of money. Principle 7. Substitution. The rich substitute power for labor. This principle explains why two people can apply equal effort and end up in entirely different financial realities. One works harder and remains constrained. The other works less and expands. The difference is not discipline, it is substitution. One replaces labor with leverage, the other does not. Labor is expensive and limited. Every action requires energy, time, and attention. When you rely on labor as your primary input, growth stalls quickly. Fatigue sets the ceiling. Substitution removes that ceiling by replacing effort with structures that move on your behalf. The wealthy do not eliminate work. They eliminate dependency on their own work. Ideas are the first form of substitution. An idea executed once can outperform years of repetitive effort. When an idea scales through systems or people, it becomes an asset. This is why intellectual property framework, Ks, and strategies create disproportionate returns. The creator expends effort once. The structure produces value repeatedly. Laborers repeat effort endlessly and reset at zero each day. Influence substitutes for time. Time can only be spent sequentially. Influence operates simultaneously. A single message delivered through the right channel reaches thousands or millions at once. This compressio N of time is why influence compounds faster than skill. Skill requires presence. Influence travels without you. Once influence exists, opportunities seek you out instead of the other way around. Perception substitutes for resources. People respond to how something appears before they experience what it is. A person perceived as credible attracts support. A person perceived as valuable receives B. Eta terms. A person perceived as important is given access. None of this requires proportional resources. It requires framing. Framing directs attention, and attention mobilizes resources that would otherwise remain inaccessible. Coordination beats effort. One person doing the work is limited by capacity. One person coordinating work multiplies outcomes. The coordinator does not produce value directly. It directs flow. Flow generates results. This structure explains most modern wealth. Ownership and coordination consistently outperform execution. The worker believes contribution creates security. The coordinator knows replaceability destroys it. When your role is to do, you are interchangeable. When your role is to direct, integrate, or decide, removal becomes costly. Cost creates leverage. Leverage creates income, detached from effort. Substitution also explains why many hardworking people feel exploited without understanding why. They are applying labor where leverage is required. They upgrade skills instead of upgrading position. They optimize execution instead of redesigning structure. Each improvement makes them more efficient, but efficiency without control strengthens the system they serve, not themselves. The person who substitutes correctly does not ask, how can I work harder? He asks, what can I replace? Can effort be replaced with process? Can time be replaced with attention? Can capital be replaced with influence? Can execution be replaced with coordination? Each substitution reduces dependency on personal labor and increases asymmetry. This is why wealth. Each creation feels unfair from the outside. It violates the visible input-output ratio. Someone appears to do less and gain more. This perception is accurate. What is invisible is the substitution that made it possible. The work happened earlier at the structural level, not at the operational one. Doing more will never make you rich if you are doing the wrong thing. More effort in the wrong structure increases exhaustion, not freedom. Substitution shifts effort to where it compounds instead of depletes. Those who fail to substitute remain trapped in linear exchange. Time for money, energy for survival, presence for income. Those who escape redesign the exchange entirely. They convert labor into leverage, leverage into systems, and systems into autonomy. Working harder does not create wealth. Replacing the right variable does. If you do not substitute labor with power, your labor will always be substituted by someone who does. Principle 8. Illusion. People do not buy reality, they buy meaning. This principle exposes one of the most uncomfortable truths about money. Value is not inherent, it is assigned, and whoever controls the assignment controls the price. A diamond is valuable because it is rare. Many things are rarer. It is valuable because meaning was engineered around it. Scarcity was narrated. Desire was conditioned. Permanence was implied. The stone itself did not change, perception did. And perception created an entire industry. Without illusion, a diamond is just compressed carbon. With illusion, it becomes commitment, status, and eternity. The same. Logic turns fabric into luxury. The material may be similar to anything else on the market, but the meaning is different. The story suggests refinement, exclusivity, superiority. People are not paying for cotton or leather. They are paying for identity. They are buying a signal about who they are and where they stand. Function is secondary. Meaning is decisive. Paper becoming money is the clear. T illustration. Currency has no intrinsic value. It is ink and fiber. Yet it commands labor, time, and obedience, because collective belief sustains it. The illusion is not accidental. It is enforced, repeated, and protected by systems of authority. Once belief stabilizes, behavior follows. And once behavior follows, value becomes real in its consequences. This is why illusion is not deception. In the simplistic sense, it is social agreement. Humans coordinate through symbols. Symbols only work when people agree to treat them as real. Those who understand this create symbols. Those who reject it are forced to live under them. Machiavellian logic makes this explicit. Appearance is power not because appearance replaces substance, but because appearance determines access. Access determines. Opportunity. Opportunity determines outcome. Substance matters only after access is granted. Illusion opens the door. Reality is evaluated later, if at all. This is where many people sabotage themselves. They refuse illusion out of principle. They insist on raw reality. They believe quality will speak for itself. It rarely does. Reality without framing is ignored. Meaningless truth has no lev. Irich. Markets do not reward honesty in isolation. They reward perception aligned with desire. The strategist does not ask whether illusion is fair. He asks whether it is effective. He understands meaning precedes exchange. Before money moves, belief must exist. Before belief exists, narrative must frame reality into something desirable, aspirational, or safe. Those who master illusion do not recklessly. They shape interpretation. They highlight certain aspects and mute others. They understand what people want to believe and structure presentation accordingly. This is why the same underlying asset can be cheap or priceless depending on context. Context is illusion. Context sets price. Rejecting illusion does not make you noble. It makes you invisible. Invisibility has a cost. It means others define the meaning of your work, your value, your role. They assign you a place. That place rarely benefits you. Many pride themselves on seeing through illusion. They call it clarity. In practice, it is refusal to play. And refusing to play does not stop the game. It only guarantees you lose. The system continues. The symbols remain. The money flows on L. Without you, illusion is the interface between reality and value. You do not need to love it. You need to understand it. Because in every market, every negotiation, every hierarchy, meaning is what people respond to first. Reality is adjusted later. To reject illusion is to reject leverage. And rejecting leverage is rejecting money. Appearance creates access. Access creates opportunity. Opportunity creates wealth. Those who understand illusion shape markets. Those who deny it are shaped by them. Principle 9, withholding. What you reveal, you lose. This principle runs counter to modern conditioning, which praises transparency, openness, and constant expression. In reality, unfiltered revelation is not honesty, it is exposure, and exposure destroys leverage. Information is power, because it reduces uncertainty. When you give information away freely, you remove uncertainty for others while gaining none in return. They can plan against you, price you accurately, and constrain your options. You receive nothing but the illusion of sincerity. In money environments, sincerity without leverage is costly. Oversharing is the most common form of self-sabotage. People explain our plans, justify their decisions, reveal their fears, announce intentions long before outcomes exist. They do this to feel understood. The result is predictable. Others adjust. Competitors prepare. Gatekeepers reposition. The field shifts quietly, and the oversharer wonders why momentum disappears. Strategic withholding is not deception, it is timing. Information released too early collapses opt. Finality. Once intentions are known, paths narrow. You are expected to act consistently with what you revealed. If conditions change, adapting becomes reputationally expensive. Silence preserves flexibility. Flexibility preserves power. Transparency at the wrong moment is strategic suicide. This is especially true with plans. A plan that is visible invites interference. Advice you did not ask. Criticism you did not need. Resistance you did not anticipate. Most plans fail not because they are flawed, but because they were exposed before they were insulated. The same applies to income. Publicizing earnings signals more than success. It signals limits, expectations, and vulnerability. Once others believe they know what you make, they anchor behavior around that number. Negotiations. Harden. Opportunities are framed accordingly. Your ceiling becomes visible. What is visible becomes constrained. Ambition is even more sensitive. Declaring ambition prematurely creates pressure to perform before structure exists. It invites comparison, judgment, and premature opposition. Ambition revealed too early attracts attention before leverage is built. Attention without protection is dangerous. It forces reaction instead of control. Those who accumulate power understand this instinctively. They reveal outcomes, not intentions. They show results, not process. They let others see what has already been secured, never what is still vulnerable. This sequencing is not arrogance. It is defense. Withholding also disciplines the self. When you do not announce goals, you are free to just without ego involvement. When you do not perform transparency, you are not trapped by consistency. The need to appear aligned disappears. Decisions become cleaner. Fewer words mean fewer commitments. Fewer commitments mean more freedom. Modern culture confuses visibility with value. It encourages constant broadcasting under the banner of authenticity. In money dynamics, this is a trap. 5i. Stability without leverage invites extraction. You become a source of data for others to use against you. Your honesty fuels their strategy. Machiavellian logic does not argue against truth. It argues for control of timing. Truth delivered prematurely weakens. Truth delivered after position is secured strengthens. The difference is not moral, it is structural. Mystery creates value because Terry resists pricing. When others cannot fully assess you, they proceed cautiously. Caution shifts advantage. It slows exploitation. It forces negotiation instead of assumption. This alone improves outcomes. Those who reveal everything early believe they are being brave. In reality, they are being predictable. Predictability is cheap. It is easily managed. The unreadable, the withheld, the ambi. Use command space simply by not collapsing uncertainty. This is the final discipline. Silence was the first layer. Unreadability was the second. Withholding is the seal. It ensures what you build cannot be dismantled before it is finished. Mystery creates value. Value creates power. Power creates money. Those who reveal everything lose all three. All 9 principles collapse into a single axis of control. Control over reaction, control over position, control over perception. Everything else is noise. Those who master these 3 variables do not chase money. Money reorganizes itself around them. Control of reaction is the foundation. Every loss of composure leaks information. Every emotional response becomes instruction for others on how to move against you. Silence, unreadability, patience, and withholding all exist to neutralize reaction. The moment you stop reacting automatically, you stop being predictable. And the moment you stop being predictable, Exploitation becomes expensive. Markets, institutions, and individuals rely on reflex. When reflex disappears, leverage shifts. Control of position is the structure. Effort without position is wasted motion. Intelligence without position is entertainment. Morality without position is decoration. Position determines whether effort compounds or evaporates. Those who remain inside the system ask how to perform better. Those who step above it ask where value must pass. Money does not flow to effort, it flows through choke points. Whoever occupies the choke point collects without chasing. Control of perception is the amplifier. People do not respond to reality directly. They respond to interpretation. Narrative, illusion, and substitution are not optional tactics. They are how value becomes visible. If you do not shape perception, others will. And when others define the frame, you are priced, positioned, and constrained accordingly. Perception does not replace substance, but substance without. Perception starves. These three controls form a closed loop. Reaction control protects leverage. Position control generates leverage. Perception control multiplies leverage. Break any part of the loop and the system collapses. Maintain all three and outcomes become predictable, not hopeful. This is where most people retreat. They want money to be ethical. They want success to reward virtue. I want fairness to be enforced by the system. This desire is understandable. It is also irrelevant. Money is not ethical. It is not unethical either. It is indifferent. It obeys structure, incentives, and control. It flows where it is pulled, not where it is deserved. Money is not humanitarian. It does not rescue the sincere or protect the exhausted. It does not pause out of compassion. It accelerates toward efficiency. It consolidates around control. Expecting mercy from it is like expecting gravity to forgive mistakes. Money also does not wait for maturity. It does not care if you are ready. It does not care if you understand it. It moves continuously. While you are improving yourself, learning more, refining values, and preparing mentally, money is already moving through channel. You either occupy or do not. Delay is not neutral. Delay favors those already positioned. This is the final separation point. Those who accept these mechanics stop asking for permission. Those who reject them remain trapped in moral bargaining. They argue with reality instead of navigating it. They hope the rules will bend. The rules do not bend. They only transfer ownership. Nothing in these principles asks you to become cruel, dishonest, or destructive. They ask you to become precise, to stop confusing intention with outcome, to stop substituting effort for leverage, to stop revealing weakness under the banner of authenticity, to stop reacting in environments that reward control. Power is not loud, wealth is not fair, and the system does not explain itself. It rewards those who observe without emotion, position without apology, and act without asking for validation. This is not motivation. Motivation fades. This is orientation. Orientation determines trajectory. Once your orientation shifts, behavior follows naturally. You speak less. You wait longer. You reveal later. You move when others cannot. Over time, people adjust around you without realizing why. That adjustment is power. The final truth is simple and brutal. You are not poor because you lack opportunity. Opportunity is abundant. You are poor because you still behave like someone waiting to be chosen, approved, or invited. Money does not reward those who ask. It consolidates around those who position themselves, where asking is no longer necessary. You do not need permission to understand the game. But the moment you stop seeking permission, the game changes.